I've just written this piece, which is very short, which I will set the front page magazine tomorrow. I'm not sure it's complete yet. I mean, I show everything I write to my wife Karen, because she is meticulous, really meticulous. She finds my typos, she finds my illogicalities. We quarrel bitterly afterwards when she shows me that something that I've done is completely off the wall. And of course, I stomp out vowing never to speak to her again. 2 minutes later, I'm on my knees thanking her because I've had to rewrite it. And she's always right. 75% of the time. Now, I'm surprising Karen because whenever I finish the first draft of an article, I go across on the hallway to her study and I say, here it is. It usually takes days and sometimes weeks before we put it together. So this is a surprise, Karen. This one I didn't show you, and I just kind of finished it this morning. When you asked me what I was doing, and I said, nothing. It's called the Multiculti Tango. It takes two to tango, goes the cliché, a truth so evident that even the cliché must blush with embarrassment for expressing it. But what is true of the tango is no less the case for the complex immigration dance in which the newcomer is expected to partner with the cultural norms and usages of his adopted country, or to be precise, was expected to do so before the terpsichorean disaster of multiculturalism introduced the scrum we see daily enacted before our eyes. The successful integration of the immigrant into society demands a series of intricate, syncopated steps. He, or she, as it goes without saying, must learn the language well enough to function in the marketplace and the public square, should acquire a familiarity with at least the rudiments of the country's history, needs to seek employment so as not to become a burden on the overextended welfare system, and must abide by his oath of loyalty and assimilate peacefully into the life of the nation. The conventional metaphor regarding optimal immigration is what is known as the melting pot, the paradigm developed in the United States, not the salad bowl model prevalent in Canada and Europe. The melting pot works more or less. The salad bowl with its fragmented ingredients plainly does not. A nation composed of immiscible elements is asking for trouble. To revert to my controlling metaphor, immigrants must learn to dance chest to chest and hip to hip with the partner they have agreed to tango with. All too often, the synergy does not take. Indeed, an alternative form of tango has become popular in recent years. The Tango Nuevo, as it's called, provides for an open embrace which permits the leader to perform all manner of figures and evolutions of his choosing. Similarly, the immigration dance has become heteronormative, that is, the lead falls to the arrivalist who creates a kind of hyphenated space in order to impose the patterns he prefers on the other. The Tango Nuevo is fine and dandy in a Rio Platense dance floor, but it does not belong in the multicultural ballroom. This means, of course, that there is no room for the separating hyphen in forming one's national identity. Responding to the current events in Egypt, an Egyptian Canadian interviewed on CBC Radio affirmed without the slightest awareness of the discrepancy, "I am proud of my country." The question that naturally arises is, which country? For this particular individual, who has been long settled in Canada, the answer is dismayingly clear. He is not dancing to Canada's tune, but to the exotic strains of another culture and political world. I recall too also that during the 2006 Israel-Lebanon war, the Canadian government repatriated at taxpayer largesse several thousand Lebanese Canadians caught in the midst of the turmoil. After hostilities had ceased and a year or so had passed, most of these hyphenated beneficiaries of what they considered their entitlement as Canadians returned to their sunny Mediterranean billet as native Lebanese. What we are observing in all too many cases is not a dance in which two partners agree to enact the proper steps, but a razzia, a raid by one party upon the generosity of another, while retaining what amounts to an alien and often parasitical identity. Canada is especially prone to such degradations. As Canadian Minister of Citizenship, Immigration and Multiculturalism, Jason Kennedy points out, Canada has the highest relative level of immigration in the developed world, and additionally is saddled with a judiciary that is soft on refugee claims. Again, this is asking for trouble. Our position requires excessive caution and stringent rules of admission, both in the protocols governing the reception of illegals to our shores and the vetting of applications. Certainly, Canadians who are proud to be Egyptian should be Egyptian. Canadians who flee Lebanon at government expense and then return as soon as the coast is clear should be Lebanese. Canadians of Muslim descent who attend radical mosques and plan jihad against the country that has welcomed them, and who have no compunction profiting from its social, medical, and physical services, should not be tolerated but deported. They have no place in the dance hall. As Hungarian-born and National Post columnist George Jonas said somewhere, he came to Canada because Canada needed more Canadians, not because Canada needed more Hungarians. Several European politicians have declared, however tardily, that multiculturalism is a failed social experiment. Whether they will act on their belated discovery or not is another issue, but Angela Merkel, David Cameron, and Nicolas Sarkozy appear to have heard the beat. Certain rules apply if chaos is to be avoided and a measured harmony to prevail. You dance with the one who brung you, and you dance to the music that is playing. There is a rhythm to the history, customs, practices, and civic expectations of a country, what is loosely called the national character, that needs to be honored in the observance and not in the breach, even if one is not, to cite Hamlet, native here and to the manner born. In short, it takes two to tango. It takes only one to wreak havoc on the dance floor. The multiculti tango needs to be abolished or at the very least reconfigured